In today's video, we're going to be looking at Directions dye in the color Lavender. If you're wondering, yes, these are human hair swatches, but the only one that is virgin hair is going to be the number 4 black swatch. You may also notice that my swatches are labeled 1 through 12, but that is not synonymous with hair levels. I'll be doing close-ups and pictures near the end of the video, so the numbers are just to help us keep track of each swatch. So I'll be taking the dye directly from the container and I'll be putting it at the top of each swatch. And then some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I'm going to do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch as well. Please keep in mind, everyone's hair is different, so everyone's hair could take dye differently. So just use my video as a reference as to how it could possibly turn out for you. The dye kind of looks a little bit more pastel, so I'm going to do a 2-to-1 ratio, and that's going to be 2 parts of the dye to 1 part diluter. If you're wondering what diluter is, the simple, easy answer is that it just lightens the color of the dye. And if you're wondering what I just use a plain white conditioner. So I'm going to let these sit for about 3 hours. After that, I will rinse them out. And when they're dry, I'll meet you back here and we can do some comparisons. As predicted, this is pretty much a pastel dye. So I can see a difference on 9 and 10, but I really wouldn't recommend dyeing your hair unless it was like the platinum blonde or lighter. To me, it looks the best on number 2, 11, and 12. And on the number 2 swatch, it looks the most cool toned, which makes sense considering it was gray beforehand. I was happy to see that I was able to dilute it as much as I did and still get a pretty pigmented color. So if you did want to use this as a toner, I'd recommend probably diluting it even more than I did. And while it looks really good on number 11, personally, I think my favorite is on the number 12 swatch where it was toned beforehand. It's kind of in between the 11 and 2 where it's a little bit more cool toned, but not quite as cool toned as the number 2 gray swatch. But honestly, that's just a preference thing. I am noticing it is a little bit lighter here on both of these swatches, but I think that was me and how I apply it because I tend to get scared that if I go too close to the direct dye portion, I'm gonna mix it in with the diluted portion because on this part, it looks pretty good. So I was really surprised to see that I have not done any other pastel purples other than Girls Night from Arctic Fox. Maybe I am missing one. I've done so many at this point. But today we're gonna start our comparisons with Girls Night from Arctic Fox. So this is comparable to number 12. And this is comparable to number 11. So to me, Girls Night definitely runs a little bit even more pastel and a hair more cool toned, but just ever so slightly. When I did the Girls Night, I was diluting it on 2 separate portions. So this is going to be diluted and this is diluted even more. So this section is probably a little bit closer to here, but in reality, because Girls Night runs lighter, the diluted portion is obviously going to be lighter as well. They're not too crazy far from each other. I just feel like the Lavender has a slight bit more pink to it. The Directions brand, they do have a different one called Lilac, so there's a chance that that one might be a little bit more similar or different. I don't know. In the future, I will try it. For anyone's curiosity, I'd also like to compare Arctic Fox's Purple Rain. So this is comparable to number 12. And this is comparable to number 11. So obviously it's not the direct eye portion that I'm thinking of. To me, I wanted to just show what the diluted portion looks like. And I feel like the Lavender is slightly more cool toned. So I feel like Girls Night is on the slightly more cool tone. Lavender is kind of in the middle, and then a diluted Purple Rain is gonna lean even more pink than the Lavender, just by a little bit. I've not done Girls Night mixed with Purple Rain. I could in the future. You just let me know if you'd want to see that. But I do feel like there's a chance that it could turn out kind of like the Lavender. I have done Periwinkle from Arctic Fox mixed with Purple Rain, but that is definitely way too cool tone. I can just show that really quick. As you can see, even the top with more Purple Rain still looks really cool tone in comparison to Purple Rain by itself, not mixed with Periwinkle. So I definitely feel like Girls Night mixed with Purple Rain would get a more similar result to the Lavender. Now that we're done with comparisons, I'd like to get into the close-ups. And I'm sure, as you know, recreating the exact same environment with natural lighting can be very difficult, so if anything looks slightly off, that is probably why. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do dyes that do not test on animals. Thank you to my patrons, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.